invite you in and then you can unmute. But I wanted you to be able to hear the whole show. But of course, if you need to walk away and come back, feel free. Don't feel like you have to be stuck to your phone. I just didn't want it to ring in the middle of the show, is all. Yeah, exactly. So I'm just calling you, and I'm going to just put the phone down and actually just be getting some stuff ready for the show. And then, just you can hit your side so you can have as much conversation. Okay, good. Awesome. So I'm going to go ahead and put you down now. Hello, everyone. I think I had myself muted. How's everyone doing this evening? Thank you so much for joining me here on episode 21 of Survivor Strong. It's the podcast where we talk about all things related to childhood trauma. I'm, of course, Yvonne Sandomir. I'm really happy to have you here for our final show of 2022. And we have a special show tonight because not only do I have some special announcements, but we have about 5 of our most impactful guests of 2022 back here with us. So I'm so excited. I've invited everybody back here to to give us an update on, how their healing journey is going, what their future plans may be, and more. So, you know what? Let's jump right in, shall we? My first guest tonight is survivor and host of the Navigating Normal podcast, Stitch Normal. Hi, Stitch. Stitch joined us on multiple occasions as a guest and a co-host, and she previously shared her harrowing story of abuse at the hands of her stepfather, and also her unthinkable rape as a teen, and the heartbreaking lack of protection from her mom. Her Navigating Normal podcast is basically a running discussion on life after experiencing childhood trauma, and I love it. I encourage everyone to check it out. So please join me in welcoming Stitch. So let me get her on here. Stitch should be coming in any second now. Hi,
Hello,
Stitch. Are
can
you
you
there?
hear me?
Yay! Hi, everybody. Please help me welcome Stitch to the show with an applause, please. Thank you very much for our final show of the year. Hi, Stitch. I know you've been on hiatus for the holidays, and so I really appreciate you taking the time to come back and join us tonight. And I just want to start by asking, how are you doing, and how have you been? How are things going on your own personal journey since we last saw you?
Oh, I've been doing good. Thank you so much for inviting me back for your year-end episode. I really appreciate it. And, the hiatus has been really good for me to take time out for myself and just look over everything, sort of like what you're doing tonight, and just reviewing everything and what more I plan on doing with my own personal journey. Things have been going really, really well.
Ah, I'm so happy to hear that. I'm so happy. And so in what areas have you seen the most growth this year? I mean, it sounds like you've been really working on yourself. And so tell me, what are some areas where you've seen the most growth within yourself?
Well, I have been, and honestly, something I've caught on to the last few months is I've noticed I've become a lot more self-aware than
Hmm.
I was before. It's like I have this new sense of clarity. I'm really able to pick up more on when I am feeling triggered. I've noticed I have a lot more issues with becoming overstimulated
Hmm.
than I noticed before. And it's really helped me figure out what I need to do to get more of a sense of peace within myself and just
Hmm.
be more content with how everything is going so far. And it's really helped me a lot, just the sense of awareness.
That's amazing. And what do you think contributed to that self-awareness that you've noticed about yourself? Have you been, doing anything differently in your healing on your healing journey?
Honestly, I think a big part of it has just been talking things out so
Mhm.
much here on Survivor Strong and over on Navigating Normal. I think that being able to lay out my own journey, my own story, and my own struggles has really helped me clarify things for myself.
Mhm.
And I have been setting aside a lot of time for reflection. As you may know, over on Navigating Normal, I have a segment called Dear Taylor, where I'm
Mhm.
basically just talking out a letter to my best friend. And it's
Mhm.
all the things that have been going on with myself. And I think that extra time for self reflection has really made a huge difference for myself.
That's wonderful. That self-reflection is so key because I mean, I think I've said it a gazillion times. You don't know you don't know what to fix or how to fix it if you don't know what it is. So being
Hmm.
aware of your triggers, being aware of, what you need to do for yourself, like deciding to take the hiatus. You could have said, well, I can't do that because I have to have my show. If I don't do my show, I'm going to be letting people down and I can't do that. But you didn't do that. Instead, you said, no, this is what I need to do for myself. And it's so important that we make that a priority. So I'm really proud of you for that because I'm sure it wasn't easy at the same time. As much as you may have been looking forward to it, I'm sure at the same time it wasn't always easy to be away from
Yes.
everything either, right?
Yes, it was really difficult, especially because I feel like the holidays, podcasters and any other kind of content creators really amp it up during the
Mm,
holidays and do more and more and more. And I
mhm.
had to just let that go and focus on myself, focus on my family, and it was definitely worth it in the long run, I think.
That's amazing. And again, I'm so proud of you for that because I know it's not an easy thing to do. And so if you're out there listening and you're considering taking some time for yourself, let this be your sign and your signal that it's okay. It's okay to step back from things that may be stressing you out, whether it be a hobby. And, who says a hobby can stress you out? But, a lot of people do podcasts for hobbies, as a hobby. So, whatever it is, just know that you can step away from it, and that's okay, that you're allowed to take that time for yourself, as you see fit. So that's wonderful. Did anybody give you any advice this year that really stuck out for you? Was there anything that someone said to you that you're like, oh my God, that just was like a, life changing thing? And it
Mm,
doesn't have
you
to be
know,
life changing, but
I don't know if it is necessarily considered advice, but I was in a session with my therapist over the summer, and he told me that I'm never going to get the apology that I'm waiting for from my mother and her family. And I think just hearing it flat out, point blank, no cushions, no niceties, no tiptoeing around it, was what I needed, so that I knew I don't have to sit around and wait for that apology. I can keep going with my own life. And I think it really triggered something inside of me. And I feel like I've just been moving at such a healthier progression ever since he told me that.
wow. You know what? That's really huge. That's a profound piece of advice because a lot of people, myself included, waited years for those apologies. I think part of me is still waiting for some of those apologies. But you're absolutely right. Those apologies won't change what happened. It won't change the years of hurt and suffering and pain that you've endured, right? So it's more of like empty words. And the way that I look at it, for me growing up, there I was always told from my parents that they love me every day. I love you. Okay, great. They say they love me, so they must really love me. But of course, the actions didn't back that up. So over the years, I decided, actions didn't matter. It was just the words. Just,
Right.
and I found myself carrying that on to other relationships. And as long as you tell me that you love me, doesn't matter if you show it, you just have to tell me that you love me. And I think about this when I think about apologies. I just want you to tell me you're sorry. I just want you to tell me that you're sorry. And it's really the same thing. What actions could this person possibly do to repair what was done? You know,
Mhm.
there's nothing this person can do. And so an apology it would be nothing more than just more empty words. And
Right.
nobody needs that. Nobody needs that. We need healing and people to take responsibility and ownership over what they've done to us. But we don't have to wait around for those apologies because most of the time it's not going to come. And even if it does, it's just not enough anyway. Right? I mean,
Right.
it just wouldn't be enough, you know? So what are some things that you plan to focus on in 2023 for not only your personal growth, but also navigating normal? Is there anything exciting coming up in 2023 with the podcast or with your personal growth?
Well, I think for myself personally, I'm just working on taking up space lately. If anyone listening is interested in, there's this hashtag on Instagram. It's a hashtag baking for mental health
Oh,
that I've been following and contributing to. And
oh,
I bake sourdough, an assortment of sourdoughs, and it's been such good therapy for myself. I take up the entire kitchen. I take up time that I have to take up. I can't say, "Oh, I'm sorry, I'll do this later." You can't make yourself smaller when you're busy baking. You have to do it and you have to follow through.
right, right.
And
That's a wonderful idea.
it's been such good, just meditative self therapy for me. Um,
Yeah.
with the podcast, I plan on doing so much more. Every year I plan on doing
I
more.
know, right? I know we always do, yeah.
Um, but I will be continuing. There's a newer series on the podcast called Fame and Misfortune, where I
Ooh.
focus on a person that most of us know because of history. The last episode that we did was on Britney Spears, and I covered her own
Oh.
childhood traumas, how it landed her in the conservatorship, the abuses that she went through from her parents, which was just heartbreaking once you have it all laid out there and listen to it all. I do have a couple more people that I want to put in the spotlight for that. I have some new guests, and I'm going to be tiptoeing into other forms of social media and seeing how they play out a little bit, possibly on YouTube and Discord and things like that. But I'm really going to be turning the spotlight more into the community. I have some new friends that I've made that are going to be coming on. I recently had on a social worker, and we
Hmm.
discussed not just her own traumas, but her experiences in social work. She works a lot with the homeless community in her area. I've gotten in touch with several people that have struggled with drug addiction and homelessness, and I'm going to be sort of focusing on that sort of area a little bit more with the new season and just what we can do to break out of that cycle because it's very synonymous with childhood trauma.
Mm. That all sounds so interesting, and I'm definitely going to check out that series. Sounds very interesting and right up my alley. So, I definitely have to check that out. And speaking of just podcasts and things, is there anything here on Survivor Strong that you would like for me to cover? Something that that you just you're interested in hearing about?
I have enjoyed everything you've been doing on Survivor Strong. The number of people that you've had come on, your Survivor Secrets segment, it has been so fascinating and impactful. The fact that these people have never told their stories before, and I know
Mm.
that's got to be difficult for you to
Yeah,
handle as a podcaster. I understand.
yeah, yeah.
Um, but I think that the things you've been doing have been wonderful, and I look forward to more of your work in the future, just bringing on newer people, hearing their stories. I know that we had talked about maybe doing some work about movies in the future, and I was thinking
Yes.
about getting a hold of you in a couple weeks at the end of my hiatus, and maybe we could do some more collab work in the future if you're up for it.
Absolutely. Oh, I'm totally up for it. As a matter of fact, I want to talk to you. Like, I want to have, maybe once a month that we collaborate, and it's a thing that we just do every month.
Hmm.
And see how that goes. I don't know how you would feel about that. You might need to do every couple months, but we can talk about that. But I'm definitely looking forward to collaborating with you, and so switching gears a little bit, you've already said a little bit what we can expect from navigating normal in 2023. Are you going to be doing the baking on YouTube? Is that what you're thinking about doing? Is doing like a baking show?
Um, no, the baking has been a newer form of self-expression for me. I think that when I start to get on YouTube, I'm gonna be doing clips of previous episodes at first just to get a feel for YouTube, get more comfortable on it. Um, Honestly, in the long run, I would really like to do a knitting podcast on YouTube eventually at some
Yes.
point. The name Stitch, the nickname Stitch, was actually originally because of my love for knitting.
Right.
I'm an avid knitter.
Yes, yes.
So that was something that I wanted to try to incorporate eventually further down the line, but it's probably still going to be a little while, but it'll happen soon.
Yeah. That's awesome. So you've really given some people some really good ideas on how to meditate with, the knitting, the baking, these are all things that anyone can do if you're feeling stressed. So if you haven't tried it before, hey, it's worth a try as far as I'm concerned. So that's really awesome. Stitch, I have to just tell you that I just so appreciate you joining us, not only tonight, but every time you're with us. You're always just so open, and I just really appreciate you. Do you have any final thoughts? Anything else that you would like to share before we move on to our next guest?
Oh, absolutely. Yvonne, I appreciate so much the times that you've invited me on to Survivor Strong. It's been such a safe place to share openly, and I feel like I can just say anything that has been on my mind, that has been weighing on me, and you've really created a very safe, nice environment for survivors to share their stories. I really appreciate it. I just wanted to say that, and I just look forward to the next year between both
Yeah.
our podcasts.
Thank you so much. I do too. I'm really excited about it. And I'm just so happy to know you, and I look forward to collaborating with you soon. And I'm just excited for everything that we have going on for us. It's going to be wonderful. 2023, watch out. Here we come.
Exactly.
So my next guest was supposed to be Amanda, but I don't see her on here just yet, and she hasn't texted me to let me know that anything's going on. So I'm just going to move on to our next guest, who is Judy. Let me go ahead and just get you invited here. Okay. Um, so most of you will know Judy. Judy never misses a live show, and she bravely shared her story of child abuse as part of the Survivor Secret series. So it was really important for me to have her back here with us. Judy grew up, just to remind you what she shared previously, Judy grew up with an alcoholic father and an abusive mother. And actually, an abusive alcoholic father, and he was physically abusive, and an emotionally abusive mother with, sadly, a penchant for humiliation. um, Judy shared how she still struggles with the loss of her son Nicholas, who sadly succumbed to cancer in 2014. And I've had the opportunity to connect with her outside of the podcast. um, and I really consider her to be a friend. So please join me in welcoming Judy back to the show. Judy, I sent you an invite to video, and I'm just going to remove you, Stitch, to make room. Hi, Judy, are you there? Hold on just a second.
Okay.
Judy?
Hi, Yvonne.
Oh, yay! There you are. Hi. Everybody, welcome Judy to the show. Judy. Welcome back. Welcome back.
Thank you.
I know that you've been doing a lot of work behind the scenes. And so tell us, how are things going for you? Please tell everyone the exciting news, if you're ready to share, about your first project that you had told us about before.
Um, well, I'm doing good. I'm healing and getting stronger. And are you talking about my book?
Yes, I
Yeah.
am.
I'm excited about it. Yeah, I'm excited about it. It's
Can we share a little bit about it? Can I reveal the title, or you want to save that?
no, that's fine.
Okay. So, so Judy, just to remind everyone, the last time, and maybe it wasn't the last time that you came on, but maybe the first time that you were here, because you've come on just, just as a listener and joined in. So I can't remember exactly when it came up, but you had mentioned that you were working on a manuscript, and the manuscript is going to be published. You found out that you're going to be published through Legacy Book Press, and the title of the book, everyone, is The Art of the Bristle. Is it The Art of Bristle?
It's The Art of Bristle. Yes.
The Art of Bristle. You guys, you have to read this book. You have to check it out when it comes out. And trust me, I'm going to have her on to give us more information about that. So that's so exciting. I'm so
It
proud
is
of
really
you.
exciting. Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you, Yvonne.
Yeah.
Thank you for all of your help.
Of
It's
course.
it's been really emotional, like it is for all of us when we finally leave our denial stage and accept reality and what actually happened. And so yeah, it's been a big step for me. It's ongoing.
Yeah. I bet. I bet. And so other than this book that's being published through Legacy, are you working on any other projects right now?
Well, yeah, I've got like a excuse me, like a drawer. I stick all my writing. Like I've written for years, and I'll just write for a while, and then I get, I don't know, tired, bored, or go on to something else, and I stick it in a
Mhm.
drawer. So I've been going through my old writing drawer and box, and so I'm working on another story that's almost ready for, um, I don't know, I guess ready to get edited and sent
Good.
out.
Yay. Good for
So
you. Look at
yeah.
you go, Judy. When we first met, you even struggled to share your story here.
Mhm,
And now you're publishing a book about it, and you're
mhm.
writing another book. You have come so far. I mean, it's amazing. How do you think telling your story has helped you?
Um, well, it's been really healing for me, and I kinda identify it with working on a puzzle, trying to fit all the pieces and find the pieces that go together, and I've asked myself a lot of why questions, things that there's, like, gaps. Um, I don't know why certain things happened or why, just why they happened. So I asked myself a lot of questions about that, but I've had found answers to some of those questions. Excuse me. Yet I still have questions, and I've succumbed to the fact that I probably will never find all the answers to the questions that I have. I wish I would, but I'm not going to have all those answers.
Right. It's kind of similar to, the apology.
Yeah.
Even if you had the answers, it's still not going to be good enough. You
Right.
know,
Right.
the answers, it's not really, it would help you put the puzzle piece together.
Mhm.
Um, but really, I don't think it would be as impactful on the healing as some may think, you know,
Right. Mhm.
because when you seek answers, a lot of times you get answers that you don't want,
Yes.
at the same time.
Mhm.
So, uh, but I totally get how, telling your story has kind of really helped you, you know, be more free. You're using your voice. And so does your family now know about the book? Do they know it's being published?
No. I gave him an outline to read about a year ago, and some of my siblings weren't too happy about what they read. I believe it hurt them. In a sense, I think it was a waking up moment for them too. Um, I pretty much my whole life I kept a smile on my face and acted like everything was fine with me. It was an act. It was fake because I wanted them to think that everything would be all right and everything was all right with my life. And I think when they read about some of the things that happened to me, I think it was difficult for them to comprehend. And I don't blame them for being hurt, but it hurt me too because I felt like they didn't understand how painful it was for me.
Right.
But then I thought about it, and it's how would they know that kind of pain if it didn't happen to them? And I'm
Right.
happy it didn't happen to them. So in a way, that's kind of like the apology thread there that we were talking about.
Right.
Because if
Right.
they don't understand that pain, and I'm really happy that they don't, because to be honest, none of us would ever want anybody to feel that kind of pain, even though we know people do, sadly. But yeah. So, did you ever see the movie Encanto, the Disney movie Encanto?
No, not yet. Not yet.
Well,
My girls are older now, so I
uh-huh.
haven't, had the reason to go to see any of those kids' movies in a long time.
Well, it's the way I saw it was it's about generational trauma and
Oh.
the foundation of when and where the dysfunction began back in the family and the generations, and change and rebuilding. And it's about the roles each family member is given or takes on to survive. And so, as I said, I'm happy my siblings never understood what I felt, but it's kind of like just like in the movie, because we all had our different roles to play in our family unit,
Mm.
whether we realized it or not. And to be honest, I never really realized that the roles were even a thing till a few years ago, if that makes
Mm.
sense.
Yes. Totally makes sense. That's interesting. That's interesting. I didn't know. I'd never even heard of that movie before.
Mhm,
So it's
mhm,
interesting.
mhm,
Um, the the parallels that you found in the movie with your own story.
mhm.
It's interesting how that happens.
Yeah.
And through everything that you've been doing, through all of your writing, all of the healing, in what areas have you seen the most healing this year?
Um, I'm stronger than I ever was. Um, I finally am getting out of the denial phase. I mean, it makes me feel like I was set back. And I'm sure a lot of you can relate too, is that um, the things that happened and my delayed, I want to say, growth. Um, how do I say this? I don't know. I can't think of the right words, but
It's
it's
okay. Just speak from your
the
heart.
abuse and the trauma set me back, because instead of going forward with the normal things that a kid does each stage of their life, I didn't go in order, if that makes sense.
Right. Oh, absolutely does. Absolutely does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I think you're
so,
right. A lot of people would relate to that.
right. And
Yeah.
so, um, it just kind of like that set me back a little bit. So I finally admitted the fact that I am an adult daughter of an alcoholic, and that the traits I have of an adult child of an alcoholic are really universal. And now I can kind of detect some of them just by what they do, what they say, how they react, because I can identify with them a little bit, if that makes
Mhm.
sense too.
Absolutely.
Um,
Yeah, it
and
does.
I'm also learning how to identify narcissistic personality disorders, and their traits are universal as well.
Oh, sure.
I
Yeah,
used
I'm
I used to
sure.
think everybody was different and it was just the way they were, but it's like there's distinct traits with the adult children of alcoholics, narcissists, the alcoholics. It's very interesting,
Yeah.
but their traits are universal too. And walking away from them and their emotional abuse is freeing for me. It's also healing to know there were reasons why I behaved and reacted to situations that I faced throughout my life.
Yeah.
It's healing to know that there was a reason for it. It wasn't just me being weird, or different than everybody
Yeah.
else. So,
Right. Right. That's so encouraging, and I'm so proud of you for that because it's, the things that you've grown where you've grown and the areas that you've healed are really complex areas that you're healing because nobody's fully
Mhm.
healed, right? You're healing.
No.
So I'm really proud of you for that. And was there anything in 2022, somebody gave you some advice that really stuck with you or anything like that that you could share? Some really good advice that you got?
Mhm. To tell my story and to get it out
Mm,
there. Yeah.
yes, I love that. That is, I have to agree, that's some really, really good advice there. You know, I want everybody needs to tell their story. I mean, that's why we're here, right? This is why we're doing what we do, because everybody's, story is so important, so Judy, what are your goals for 2023? What's next for Judy?
Um, I have so many goals,
That's good. That's good.
but I guess continue to share my story and encourage others to share theirs with the world. I used
Absolutely.
to feel like I was all alone in my pain and that nobody really understood, but there's a lot of us out there. And keeping our secrets to ourselves. And I don't think that because out of fear and trying to protect others, and I don't want to do that anymore. I don't want to be
Yeah.
afraid and I don't want to protect others in that respect because I don't think it's helping. It helps to know that there's others out there like us. And I want to be that person to help someone else say,
Yeah.
"Oh, I'm not alone. I'm not
Absolutely.
alone in this."
Absolutely. That's a beautiful goal, that you have for 2023. And, um, and as far as Survivor Strong, like I said, you never miss a daggum episode. I'm so grateful for you. Is there anything that you'd like to hear about in 2023?
Well, I agree on everything Stitch said. I really, I think the childhood abuse topic is really something that should continue to be addressed because most of us are born into a traditional family, and this is our entire world. And we seem to adapt to our family's attitudes and behaviors and beliefs, right or wrong, and that's what we think is normal.
Right, yeah.
And we don't listen like to our intuition, or it's just no, that's I'm not thinking right, or um, so I think that we need to talk more on that subject and to share our stories, um, because I think that it should be a goal to help children that battle physical, sexual, emotional abuse.
Mhm.
And I believe how to start this process is by, once again, all of us sharing our stories with each other and more, because I think the more that we get them out there, that uh, secretive aspect there'll be a light shown in on it, that it's not gonna,
Yeah,
there'll be less of the darkness and more light,
that's right.
because evil likes to do its work in the dark.
Oh, that is so, so true. Oh, Judy, I just have to tell you that I am so very grateful that we met. I appreciate your loyalty to the show, of course, and allowing me to be part of your journey. Um, People don't know, but I helped Judy edit her manuscript to get it ready for publishing, and I'm just so incredibly proud of you, and I will definitely be looking forward to that book when it gets published. I'm assuming in 2023 sometime. So
And
hopefully in 2023. Hopefully.
I, I guess the release date is going to be Valentine's Day 2024. So I still got some time.
Oh,
Yeah, isn't that cool?
okay.
I'm
That's
excited about it.
awesome.
And
So,
Yvonne, I want to thank you so much for all your help and your words. Dig deeper, dig deeper. Because
that
that
was it. I was just
really,
like, dig deeper, dig deeper.
yeah,
And you did it. You did it. Even when it wasn't easy, you did it. And I'm just so very proud of you. And thank you for all
thank
of your
you.
kind words, by the way. Really
Thank you
means a
for
lot to
yours.
me.
Thank you.
So thank you so much for coming back and giving us an update. So you can go ahead and leave the stage. I'm going to go ahead and start to invite my next guest.
And Yvonne, how do I leave the stage?
Oh, you know
See.
what? I'll take you off. Don't worry.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, there we go. So our next guest is Carolyn Lemon Larson, and Carolyn fearlessly shared her experience of being placed in custody with her sexually abusive uncle at the age of 2. And while in her uncle's custody, he introduced her to a religious cult named Santeria, which practices animal sacrifice. She remained under his control for 12 years until she reunited with her mother at the age of 14. And life seemed to be good for her until flashbacks of her abuse started at the age of 30. And she sought the help of a hypnotherapist who turned out to be an abuser as well. Can you imagine that? He drugged and raped her for 10 years until she realized what was happening and reported him, causing him to surrender his medical license. So please help me welcome Carolyn back to the show. Carolyn, yay! Thank you so much for joining
Hi,
us. It's so good to see your face.
Yvonne. Thank you. I am so technically challenged, and it's just a miracle that I am even here, much less being able for y'all to hear me and see me and all that good stuff without you having to call me on the phone like you did last time.
You did it! Yeah, you did it.
I did.
Well, I have to tell you, Carolyn, I am just blown away every time I read what you've endured. And, how have you been since we last saw you?
Okay, I have to tell you, I have jotted down notes. I'm going to do my best not to just read them like I did last time.
It's
I
okay.
am Well, thank you so much. You were so encouraging. I can't tell you how much you mean to me. And
Oh,
um,
thank you.
anyway, here's what I wrote, okay? In
Okay.
answer to this question, I
Okay.
said, I feel like I should be able to come on here and tell the world I am doing fantastic. But in reality, that's not how I'm quite feeling right now. But I'm very grateful to you, Yvonne, and to all the people that are working so hard in this field of helping trauma survivors.
Thank you so much for that. I appreciate your kind words. And, it's okay not to be okay. We're not all going to be in a positive place. I mean, what seems to be weighing you down these days? What seems to be holding you back, do you think?
Well, there's
I didn't
several
I
things.
didn't ask you that question. So that's not on your list. That's just a question from my heart right now.
That's
So
fine. That's fine. Um, I was jotting down notes, that as I was listening to your other wonderful speakers just now, I was jotting down notes that things that they were triggering in my mind. Um, but I want to say, I woke up this morning. Sometimes when I first wake up in the mornings, I will have like kind of an epiphany moment where I'll realize, oh, so that's what's going on in my life. That's why I'm stressed out right now. I had one of those, I guess it was this morning,
okay.
um, where I realized that my therapist is on vacation right now. My psychiatrist is on vacation right now. My Bible study is on vacation right now. My Sunday school class is on vacation right now. And um, I started off the year on 5 medications, and these are all psychiatric medications. I'm down to, I wanted to say 3. I actually am struggling to get off one of them. So I guess I should say I'm kind of on 3.5 right now, more or
Okay.
less. But I don't know who's aware of this in you and your circle, but I wanted to point out that there is a huge shortage of ADHD meds.
Oh,
Um,
really?
Supposedly, it's because of COVID and factory worker shortages following COVID. I don't know. I haven't looked into it all that much, but as far as suggestions for future topics for you. I wanted to mention that as a future possible topic because I'm just hearing more and more. It's not just ADHD meds. It's just, another med after another med after another med, things like children's ibuprofen and just all kinds of things that there's shortages of. And so I had to get a new psychiatrist this year. My other one, I don't know exactly what happened to her. She said something, one of the last times I saw her, where something about cancer. So I think maybe she came down with cancer, but I was not able to get hold of her. I would go by her office and they would say that she was out. So I just could not get my medications like I needed to. So I finally had to get a new psychiatrist, and it actually ended up being a wonderful thing because I just love my new psychiatrist. But he's in the process of changing my medications, and he's basically taking me off the antidepressants and trying to give me more of the ADHD meds. Only problem is the ADHD meds, there's a huge national shortage of them. So I'm struggling.
Yeah, I'm so sorry to hear that.
Well, thank you.
I'm so sorry to
Um,
hear that.
and I'm sorry if I'm kind of all over the place with my thoughts and all,
No, no,
but
this is fine.
that's kind of how my
Yeah.
brain is right now.
No, that's perfectly fine. We will adapt. Don't you worry. One of the other questions that I did send to you for your review ahead of time was, have you had any epiphanies recently about your healing process? And that could be things that you should be doing, or I don't like to say should, would, could have, but things that you'd like to be doing, or, things that you'd like to change. Have you
Yes,
had any epiphanies?
I have. I wrote down some notes for that. If I can read those notes, and I will try to add some spontaneity in there. My husband helped me a little bit with this over lunch today. um, but here's what I wrote. I said, my therapist has told me that my life story is similar to the life story of Joseph in the Old Testament of the Bible. Joseph went through a lot of suffering in his life, but God used him later on to help the people of Egypt to overcome a huge famine at that time. And my therapist thinks that God is going to use me and my life to help other people to overcome huge challenges
I
eventually.
love that. I love that. And that's true. Everywhere that you're struggling now, as you work on that, you're going to be able to help other people, work on those things as well because you have the experience and you've gone through all of the hard work that hopefully, your words and things that you did to help you get through some of these difficult things, that'll help other people going through those difficult things. So I think that's a beautiful thing. And
Thank you.
in what areas have you seen the most growth within yourself?
Um, okay, here's what I wrote for that. I said, I and my husband helped me a lot with this one because sometimes it's hard for me to really have a lot of self discernment, I guess you could say.
Okay.
But he helped me, like I said, write this. And what I wrote is, I said, I'm learning not to throw in the towel, even though I feel like it sometimes. I keep moving forward no matter what with prayer and supplication.
Oh,
So yeah,
that's what you're doing.
I'm trying to learn more about the Bible, and I'm having a really hard time sifting through what the cult taught me as a child versus what the Christian churches have taught me that I've been involved in over the years. But I'm working hard on that.
Well, good for you. And I can imagine that that's difficult having, you know, just the contrast between the two.
Hmm.
And I can imagine, you know, how difficult that is. And, the success that you have had, and, it sounds to me that it kind of, contribute a lot of it to your therapist for helping you, um, see a lot of these things. Is that what I'm hearing? That's what I'm hearing is that
Definitely.
your therapist
In fact,
really helped you.
I kind of wondered last time whether I should state what his name is, and I really feel like I need to give a shout out to him. His name is
Okay.
Jeffrey. His name is Jeffrey Robbins, and he is in Killeen, Texas, and he is just excellent.
Hi, Jeffrey. Thank you for working with my wonderful friend here. That's great. That's wonderful. I'm so glad that you found people, or found someone that. It sounds like you have a group of people actually, not just someone. You have your Bible study group. You have a. Sounds like you have a whole um, entourage around you, which is a beautiful thing. Have any of them? What's the best advice any of them have given you in 2022?
Um, Let me see here. I would say that was when Jeffrey, my therapist, told me that I needed to share my story. I can remember him just sitting me down one day and saying, Carolyn, you have got to share your story. You have got to get the
Mhm.
poison out of your system. And this
Yep.
is when I kept coming up with these little skin cancers that I kept getting.
Mhm.
Um, and I'm still getting little skin spots that I have to go to the dermatologist for every few months. But all of my biopsies have been coming back as benign,
Thank God for
negative
that.
for cancer.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. You know what? So it's interesting. So you and Judy, your best advice was the same advice that you received, was to tell your story, to kind of get it
Mhm.
out there. And
Right.
so it's so important. I can't tell you how important it is. And you've already told me, the topics that you'd like to discuss here in 2023. So now tell me, what are you looking forward to in 2023? What is something that you're excited about?
Okay. Well, my husband and I have been talking, and one of the things that I want to start is something called a Proverbs 31 ministry. In
Mm.
the 31st chapter of Proverbs in the Bible, it talks about women who are leaders and who go out and survey a field and decide what kind of crops they're going to grow and so forth. And I'm not planning to go buy a field and plant any crops, but what's going on is I know one of your guests was talking about homelessness earlier.
Mhm,
That's
mhm.
something that I feel like I really want to try and get involved with. I haven't ever done that before, but our town of Temple, Texas is having a real problem with crime, and most of
Mm.
it has been on the other side of town from us. I like to say on the other side of the railroad tracks, but it's starting to come to our neighborhood too.
Mm.
And so there is a street in Temple called 31st Street where a lot of the crime has been happening for the most part. And I'm noticing that there's a lot of crime, and I think there's a lot of homelessness over there. I found out that a lot of homeless people sleep in the parking garage of the downtown library, which I
Mm.
think is just pathetic.
Mm.
So I want to go and try and meet with maybe some of the church leaders that are in that area, and some of the maybe library officials and different things like that, and see what my husband and I and maybe our church might be able to do to help with some of those things.
Oh, that's really amazing. Now that's something to look forward to, right? I mean,
Right.
that is what a beautiful thing that you could be doing for your community, and um, I applaud you for wanting to do that, for having the desire. So before we move on to our next guest, I wanted to ask, do you have any questions or final thoughts that you'd like to share with us before we move on?
I just want to say that one of the big things that I'm coming to realize is that, okay, I'll be honest, I am dependent on government. I am on Social Security disability, and I hate being dependent on government. And
Mm.
I just feel like, sort of like Joseph in the Bible, he warned people of an upcoming famine. And I'm sorry, I know a lot of people aren't going to like it when I say this, but I just feel like I need to sort of warn people that there are too many people dependent on government. Um,
Mm.
and I just want to really address that issue if I can.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
And then I just wanted to say real briefly that I also have come to realize that I was involved in human trafficking, which I did not even realize at the beginning of this year. And so I would just like to suggest that as a possible future topic, maybe for your what you're doing. I don't
Yes,
know
yeah.
how much of that you might have seen, but I think it's very hidden. I think when people come to our door, we have a lot of young adults that come to our door trying to sell things like solar panels and things like that. And from what I've heard, a lot of those kids, young adults, are actually involved in human trafficking. And
Wow.
that's a real issue that, I'm wrapping my heart around also.
Wow. Well, that is definitely something that I will talk about next year. It's something that, does need to be talked about more often. And, there we have to talk about what can be done about it, how we can see it when it's in front of us, how to um, and how to respond and react when you suspect. I think that's a huge topic that we should cover. So thank you so much
Right.
for that, and I appreciate you sharing those
Thank
final
you.
thoughts with me. And
Okay.
Carolyn, I
Thank you.
just want to thank you so much for being a part of the Survivor Strong community. You really have
Thank
come a
you.
long way, and it's really been a joy to see that progression every time we talk. And I know that there's more to come next year. And so I hope that you'll actually come back on in 2023, and so we can continue talking about your journey, because where this
Definitely.
isn't just a one and done situation here.
There are so many more things I could say, but I know time is short, and I just want to appreciate. I want to say how much I appreciate you just letting me be part of this at all. Today and my interview in the past. So I'm looking forward
Of
to getting
course.
to know you better.
It's my absolute pleasure. Thank you, and I am too. So thank you, everybody. Thank Carolyn again, and I'll go ahead and remove you from the stage, so you don't have to worry about
Thank
that part. But thank you so much for being here with us. And now
thank
the
you,
my
Yvonne.
final. You're so welcome. So my final guest tonight is Susie Canny. She's actually a really, really dear friend of mine and my mentor. Susie is a survivor, an author, and she's actually the president of the LA chapter of Child Help, whose mission is to really meet the physical, emotional, educational, and spiritual needs of abused, neglected, and at-risk kids. Susie, Susie and I met at the LA Times Festival of Books this year rather, and I have to tell you, we just connected immediately. And since then, I've had the pleasure of attending a fundraising gala for Child Help in Beverly Hills this year. And I'm actually attending the 2023 gala that's going to be in Pasadena, California in April of 2023. So I'm really looking forward to that. So Susie is joining us on the phone today. So, Judy, if you, not Judy, Susie, Susie's joining us on the phone today. And so, if everyone could please help me welcome Susie back to Survivor Strong. Welcome back, Susie. How are you? Don't forget to unmute yourself. Oh, there you are. I can hear you now. Are you there? I could hear you. Are you there? Can you hear me, Susie? I heard you for a second. I don't know what happened. So while we wait for Susie, let me see here. She may have, you know what? She probably stepped away for a second. Isn't that the way? The way it goes. As soon as we step away. Yeah.
I'm here.
Oh, yay! There she is.
I am here.
Hello, my dear friend. How are you?
First, before you ask me any questions, let me say to Carolyn that my daughter, the one who told the truth about what happened in her life, but thanks, Carolyn. I spent most of my my childhood as a military kid and lived in Copper's Cove for a long time, and also know Temple pretty well.
Oh.
And Killeen, Texas, is right next to Copper's Cove. So, of course, that was the stomping grounds as a teenager.
Wow, look at that. You hear that, Carolyn? That's really cool. That's awesome.
Well, I was very shocked because, that's the beginning of my story of Defeatus being in that world.
Right. What a small world. Small world, isn't it? I know. It's crazy.
And I really appreciate her share too.
Yes.
So
Yes.
you can ask questions now.
You're ready now. How are things going at Child Help? How's everything going?
Well, everything's going well. Our Christmas program was the best we've had in attendance, so it was really great.
Awesome.
And we're really getting excited because we are going to have this event in April, and we have so many celebrities who are actually going to be there, and it's amazing.
Yay!
So it's gotten very exciting.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Anyway, I think the most important thing that Child Help is doing is we're really, really concentrating on the foster care program in Los Angeles.
Oh, okay.
And that's we talk about homelessness. Oh,
yeah.
That's where you see they are right down on Sunset. They're on El Centro, and Sunset Boulevard is right next to where this is.
Mm-hmm.
And so they see kids on the street all the time, but their job is the foster care program. So it's a serious problem, and I definitely can tell you that trafficking is a major issue in Child Help, especially since Sarah and Yvonne live in Arizona, where the trafficking is actually highest.
In Arizona? Really, I didn't realize that. Trafficking is the highest in Arizona?
Very high in Arizona.
Oh, wow. I had no idea about that.
It comes off of the border, and it comes off of the ability for people to do anything on the internet. And if you look on Child Help right now, on the website, they have a video on how traffickers trap children through their cell phones.
Wow. That's on your website? That's on Child Help's website?
Yes, it's on Child Help website.
Okay. Can you just give us that website so people can write it down?
The website is www.childhelp.org.
.org. O-R-G. Okay.
.org. It comes right up. And that is probably one of the first videos that you might be able to, you just have to look at videos. And that's the one it is. And it's very, very alarming, but it makes perfect sense. And kids are so vulnerable. It's very sad.
They really are. They really are. And what do you think is the most significant success Child Help has had this year? Like, what is the biggest thing that they've accomplished this year, do you think?
Well, I think the transfer of the leadership has been the biggest thing. Because Jim and Carol Hibbert have been with Child Help for, I think, 25 or 35 years. But Sarah and Yvonne have been doing this for 65 years.
Yeah.
And so they are turning over the leadership to Jim and Carol.
Okay.
They'll be kind of our liaison to the corporate part of Child Help. Sarah and Yvonne are still working, but they are putting a large amount of the responsibility in Carol and Jim's hands. And
Yeah.
since they're in their 80s, it's about time.
Right, right. I mean, it's bound to happen eventually. It's bound to happen eventually, right?
Well, it's good that they're so smart about it. You know, they have huge plans for child health. They are creating the plan of a village in Arizona that'll be able to do all of the forensics and all of the questioning of the kids, so they don't have to go to different departments.
Right.
And everything will be there, including the doctors and the X-rays, and the police are going to be having a part there too, where they can actually view, so that the kids don't have to even talk to the police.
That's so amazing.
The doctors find out from the kids.
That's so amazing.
And that's in the future. It's part of Jim and Carol's mission. So it's immediately happening now because of that. They've actually found the property to do it. So it's very exciting.
Wow. So I guess that answers my question about what's happening in 2023 for child help. Sounds like one thing they'll be doing. Yes, that's amazing. That is so exciting.
I'll give you a little bit about myself if you want.
Yes.
Right now in my healing journey.
Yes, please.
First of all, God is not missing.
Yeah.
And even our reading is so totally God-centered. So I appreciate you in my life. And I've opened myself up to writing a lot of poetry now, and also going back into the writing that I've been doing. And I have a particular one that's about saving a child who's in danger of being molested, and that whole process. And now that I've been so educated by child help as to what this looks like, I can confidently say I can do this. So
right.
I'm ready to do it.
Right.
For sure in 2023.
That's amazing.
That's what I want to accomplish.
Yeah.
And I had a really wonderful thing happen at Christmas.
Oh, tell me what happened.
I haven't had my daughter, who's homeless, I haven't had her come into my home for dinner because of her emotional upsets. And so what happened this year is I invited her to come and pick up dinner. I did that last year because of the pandemic. And this time I said, I'm going to make dinner and you can come at 5 o'clock. And she said no. She wanted to be there at 3 o'clock. Well, I wasn't cooking until 4 o'clock. So she came to pick up her present, which was $100 bill with a card, and I bought her a jacket. And she literally sat down with me, which she never sits down with me. She just gets always antsy and upset. And so she wants to have her money and her card, and then she wants to go. But she sat down with me, and we sat on the porch and we talked, and she was so delightful. She has been going through a lot because her boyfriend has cancer, and she's had to take over a lot of the caregiving for him, and before that he was the caregiver of her. And so now she's shifted, and I really see a complete focus in this girl. She's very much a helper, and she helps in the homeless community, and she is in the homeless community, but they have a mobile home, and that makes them a different level of homeless.
Right.
So they are mobile and covered but they do get state money,
Mm-hmm.
and so it was just so night and day from all of these years that she's been, estranged from me. And I
Wow.
felt like I actually had the best Christmas I've ever had.
Oh, I love that. Just because she sat down with you and
Yeah.
didn't just come in and get her gift card and leave, or her $100 bill and leave. That's so sweet. That's so
Yeah, she
special.
sat with me.
Oh, I'm so happy for you.
I know.
Oh,
It's been a long time. Oh my
yes.
God.
That is such a beautiful thing. And, I think that's a beautiful way to, close off your portion of the interview, because it's just so positive and beautiful. you know,
It's possible.
yes, it is possible. And
Yeah.
Susie, I love the opportunity to connect and discuss, the importance of protecting our children. That's the one place where we connected immediately. And,
Right.
I want to thank you for being my friend and my mentor. But most of all, thank you for all you do to help children in need. I mean, um, it's so special. Child Help is so lucky to have you, and I just appreciate you more than you'll ever know.
Well, I appreciate you as well, and I thank you for acknowledging that working with child help is important to you, because I want you to be in child help.
I know. We're gonna be talking about that. I mean, I just feel it. I feel it. Just timing hasn't been the right timing, but I feel it's gonna happen.
I hope so,
Me
because
too.
I just love you so much, and I
Oh,
know it was a God thing, and I so appreciate God for letting me see you across the way and say, "Don't talk to that girl."
yes, I know. I'm so grateful, and I can't wait to see you again in April, and and definitely we'll have you back in 2023 to give us updates on Child Help, of course. So
I'm happy to do it.
yes, well, thank you so much for being with us. You can go ahead and mute your line now, because it's
Okay.
Susie is our final guest tonight. So now it's time for my big announcements. Woo! I know that there are like sound effects here on this app, and I just don't use them. I'd rather do them myself, so I hope that's okay. So anyway, the first announcement that I want to make is that Survivor Strong in 2023 is going to be moving days and times. We will now be on air live on Friday mornings at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So don't forget to reset those reminders. And I apologize if that doesn't work for a lot of people, but don't forget, you've got those replays out there that you can that you can watch anytime. The next is in 2023, we will have a brand new look and a website in 2023. I'm so excited. We're going to have a new studio set up. We have a new logo. We'll have new cover art. And the website is going to be www.survivorstrongpodcast.com. And that's going to be the place to catch up on all things Survivor Strong. You can get your replays. You can stay updated on events. And now you'll be able to purchase Survivor Strong merchandise. Woo! That's right. We are dropping Survivor Strong tees, sweatshirts, coffee mugs, and tumblers. So check it out in the near future. I'll let you know when everything will be up live and ready to go. So I'm very excited for that. The merchandise looks really cool, and you can be sure that I'll be wearing it on air, so you can see it before you buy it. So don't you worry. Don't you worry about that. But wait, there's more. Some of you may know that I'm also an artist. As a child, I often found myself lost in my own dreams and imagination through the art of painting. Over the years, I've grown to appreciate this ancient form of expression even more. And I'm now using it to express myself in both challenging times and joyous times. I use acrylic paint, pouring paint on canvas, and I create abstract works. The brilliant colors and depth of the material allow me to really create something that's truly unique with each piece that I craft. No one piece is the same. Every movement of paint is an opportunity for me to express different emotions, from deep sorrow to utmost happiness, while capturing moments in time that will probably never happen again. And now you can have your very own print of my original artwork from my Healing Through Art collection right on the website, survivorstrongpodcast.com. All prints are very reasonably priced, from $25 to $140, depending on the canvas size. I think the smallest is 5x7, and the largest I think might be 24x36. So it's a pretty good size. I created each piece from my heart that I hope will live on in your home. So that's it for the announcements. But before I go, for the last time in 2022, you know, I have to take a moment here and really thank every one of you for being a part of the Survivor Strong community. Your support, enthusiasm, and passion for helping survivors in need have been an incredible source of motivation and inspiration for me. And without your dedication, your commitment, this journey just really would not have been possible. So your stories of survival, strength, and courage remind us that no matter how difficult life can be, it is still worth living. You have all shown tremendous resilience in the face of adversity, never giving up no matter how hard it gets. And for that, I am truly proud of you. Your words of encouragement over the past few months, or really this year, have really kept me going even when times got really tough. Your unwavering faith in our mission has been a massive help throughout this journey, and for that, I am genuinely grateful. My goal moving forward in 2023 is to keep connecting with survivors on our platform so they can unburden the secrets from their past. Because, as you all know, when one of us speaks out, we speak for millions who have yet to find the courage to do so. We are hope bringers, a shining beacon of light and support for those still struggling in the darkness. Our collective stories serve as an inspiration for those who feel lost, alone, or helpless. We must remind them that there is always hope, and that no matter how difficult healing may seem, it's definitely worth the journey. Our words can be powerful tools in helping survivors heal from their trauma. They offer solace and understanding during pain and grief, offering guidance toward a path that really leads to healing. Our stories encourage others to keep fighting through the tough times, knowing they don't have to do it alone. By sharing our experiences, we can create a safe space where people can freely express themselves without that fear of judgment or ridicule. We also must provide much needed insight into overcoming adversity. We provide much needed insight into overcoming adversity, guiding how best to cope with intense emotions and difficult circumstances. We share advice on what resources are available and how best to access them. Our stories can also spread awareness about mental health, self-care, and self-love, all of which are essential to surviving trauma. Most importantly, though, our stories remind those who feel forgotten that their voice matters and their struggles will not go unheard. By sharing our experiences, we give hope to others in need, proving that no matter how hard life may get, you can still find strength within yourself if you look deep enough. When one of us speaks out, we speak for millions, because together we're stronger than anything life throws at us. Thank you all for being such incredible members of the Survivor Strong community. It's been a fantastic journey, and here's to many more years ahead. And with that, I want to thank all of you for joining me on the final episode of Survivor Strong for 2022. We will be back on Friday, January 13th at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here live on Fireside, Facebook, and YouTube. Remember, you got this. We are all in this together. Until next time, everyone. I'll talk to you next year, I guess.